How you guys doing? So we're gonna be talking about the chapter "It's Greek to Me," and a huge part of this is ancient Greek poet Homer and his influence on modern media and literature. So the general thesis in this chapter was that whether they're from tales or a single tribe or myths that powered an ancient empire, writers continue to implement the morals and ideals of myths to diversify and deepen the stories they write for the modern day. And so getting right into it, personal myth. Foster really argues in this chapter that personal heritage and more specifically cultural myth often play a large role in a person's writing. People really like to be represented, and so by using their cultural myth, they can represent their own history. Like if they grew up surrounded by that culture, it's really likely that these myths played a large part in their childhood, so it makes a lot of sense for them to want to use them to tie their writing to history and morals. And a big part of this was the representation. How you've got a grand tapestry of cultures, and each small culture adds to the big one, and people want to represent. Like each community, as Foster says, has its own body of stories that matter. Yeah. So Greek myth, a bunch of basic patterns that are present throughout Greek myth are that of Icarus, Freud, and the hero's journey. Greek myth set the basis for a lot of commonly used literary devices. One example would be how Homer defined the basic story of what it meant to be a hero, so that being hero's journey. The influence that Greek myth had was so widespread that it's still one of the most referenced banks of literature to this day. I mean, even the reference of flight can be connected back to the Icarus example in his fall from grace, and how Freud named his complexes after ancient Greek stories of warning. Authors for thousands of years, even those from ancient times, copied each other's templates for stories and created a set of basic stereotypes that are present in a lot of modern media. So tying right into actual modern media, the influence that Greek myth had was so widespread that it's still super, super, super referenced today. And a great example of that would be Sisyphus and Groundhog Day. We're comparing Sisyphus, ancient Greek legend, to Groundhog Day movie. Really funny movie. But it's actually a great kind of analogy for Sisyphus, because Sisyphus tells a story about how time is linear and everything is driven by fate, and you can't really change it. You've kind of got a destiny. But in our modern movie, Groundhog Day, it kind of takes a spin on it where you've got free will. It's a really good modern adaptation of it. And in the movie, he actually breaks the time loop he's stuck in through his efforts, while Sisyphus, with all his efforts, still can't break the loop that he's stuck in. So, yeah, thank you for your time.